good record keeping is absolutely essential. It is required. If you want any money from outside, including a bank, you have to have good record keeping. And even though I'm a CPA, I have my own bookkeeper. I use Dashboard. We have plenty of resources in our startup tools for bookkeepers that you could use, but you really need someone who understands bookkeeping to do your books. And then financial dashboards also are very effective at helping to monitor and manage your business. And I'll talk about a little bit about that and give you a sample. And then you also need to think about your current, like this year, within the next 12 months, and your future financial aspirations. And you need to map those out in a way that is not only your vision in terms of, what markets you're going to grow in, or how many people you're going to hire, or how much you're going to invest in research and development, or what new manufacturing facility you're going to use. You really have to think about it in terms of numbers and putting those numbers down on paper or in QuickBooks or whatever financial system you have to analyze that. So now let's talk about dashboards. Financial dashboards will help you more effectively manage your business. So this is a sample with QuickBooks where, all the inflows and all the outflows, income and expense and so on are brought into QuickBooks. If you don't have QuickBooks or something like it, I highly recommend you get it, and you can either buy it yourself. I prefer the web edition rather than the desktop, because my accountants can do all the journal entries, and then I do I review everything when it's done, and if there's a mismatch, I'll ask them about it. But it's good if you have a bookkeeper that can do this for you, and then you review it. So in this dashboard, for example, we can see, these are the cash flows coming in, these are the cash flows going out, and we can analyze whatever you want within QuickBooks or whatever financial system you use. You can set up whatever dashboards you want, but this is just a very simple one that's automatically set up by QuickBooks, where it gives you the income and expense for the year and then breaks them out into the various categories for you. And you could look at this on a quarterly basis and say, hey, it looks like I'm really spending too much money on this, and I should spend less on that. Or, maybe I have enough cash to invest in, a new technology or new product development, that sort of thing. So when you're very first starting out, early stage, and like I said, our community is primarily for early stage founders that are generating up to $1 million, maybe 2 or 3 million in revenue. At this early stage, you're looking for seed and development, and you're also bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is absolutely critical. What is bootstrapping? Bootstrapping essentially is providing your own funding sources. So that's generating revenue from your services or products. It's getting investment maybe from your friends and family or from your own savings account. It's utilizing credit cards or traditional line of credit, line of credit. It's essentially not going to any professional source of money, like institutional money. It's more focused on banking, banking relationships, and maybe very early stage, like friends and family. Then we have what you would call the startup stage. And depending upon where you are now developing a sustainable cash flow. And next class, we'll talk about cash flow. A lot of these topics we're going to get into in later courses. But at this point, you may have some access to early stage fundraising. And what are those types of early stage fundraising? We'll go into that later. We have between the banks, equity crowdfunding, and then traditional venture capital, depending upon how big and how fast growing your company is. Then we've got growth stage, where you're really generating a lot of revenue. You may not be generating a lot of profit, but you're at least generating a lot of revenue. And you may require investment to grow. Most likely you require investment to grow. And investors want to get in at this stage because there's a clear path to massive profitability. You've de-risked a pretty significant amount because you've gotten to this growth stage. And they want to get the big payoff that will come probably at this stage. So when you get to a certain stage, generally from a venture capital standpoint, they're looking for an exit between 5 and 7 years. Sometimes it's as long as 10 years. Sometimes it could be 2 or 3 years. It just depends. You find a way to return money to investors. And so you can do that through, they call it a monetization event. And a monetization event is when you are going to get paid out for your business idea. So you're going to do an initial public offering. You're going to sell your company to private equity. You're going to buy back. You're going to do a management buyback. There are a whole variety of ways to do that. You're going to merge into a larger organization. There are a whole variety of ways that you exit. And then you really don't want to get into this decline stage. So what you need to do then is reinvest to kind of grow to the next level.